Welcome back to Deep Dive with Dr. Fitz. I'm your host, Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick, Superintendent of Schools here in the Schuylkill Haven Area School District, and this is a very exciting episode. The only thing that could make it more exciting would be if we were next to a body of water talking about fish, but we'll get to that in just a second. Let me give some really important updates before you meet these folks to my left. First of all, 8th grade, congratulations. The What's So Cool About Manufacturing team brought home a big award the other night. They actually won the award for Best Brand Placement. And Mrs. Stauffer showed me the trophy. If you get a chance, pop by Mrs. Stauffer's classroom. Beautiful trophy. We want to get that thing on display in the high school. It's a really cool trophy. Congratulations to that team. Also, Schuylkill Haven Area Middle School drama production. There's the flyer for you. So Freaky Friday, it's a one-act edition of Freaky Friday, April 26th. That's Friday. The beautiful middle school auditorium all gets started at 7 o'clock. Come out and support our middle school kids. So much drama talent in our district across the board. And then, by the way, yesterday was a big day on our campus. We celebrated the Hurricane Hop, where we have invited all of the school districts in Schuylkill County to come right here to Schuylkill Haven and celebrate a life skills prom. What an amazing event. Thank you to all the districts that came by. We really had a great time and a great day yesterday. So those are the cool things that have been happening this week. Now we can introduce the guests to my left. First, we'll start all the way down. Blake Rossi, 10th grade student. Welcome, Blake.
Thank you.
And a Patriots fan. We'll talk about that in a second. I think we've got a little soccer action in the middle here. Matt Angelo, another 10th grade student.
Yep.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank
and of
you.
course, Mrs. Schwank, who we absolutely love. And it doesn't matter what sport you're cheering on, you'll see her somewhere in the crowd.
Yes.
She comes and
she cheers on everything.
Yeah, she does show up for everything. So what's with the sports apparel today?
So it's Autism Awareness Week, and today I believe the theme was like the team spirit, like to team up against bullying. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
So you wore your team jersey today. I probably should have worn a Haven jersey, but I didn't want to slight any of the particular sports because I try to support all of them. So
and Blake,
went with the Phillies.
Yeah. Yours is like customized, right? Yep. You got your name on the back there. You're looking good. All right, good stuff. So Autism Awareness Week, another great thing that's going on in our school this week. Didn't even include that in the updates, but that's very cool. But we're going to start with Mrs. Schwank, talk a little bit about what we offer here at Schuylkill Haven Area High School. And if you could, just share with us what the Trout in the Classroom program entails and kind of how you came about this in your classroom.
Okay. So the Pennsylvania Trout in the Classroom program is actually sponsored by the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. And I first became aware of it through my daughter, Kelsey, actually, because she's very much into the environment and nature and wildlife and knows that I'm always looking for ways to get my students more involved in various activities. And she was like, Mom, you should really check into this. So I did. I went to the training at Bellefonte at the hatchery up there where they raise the fish and with a lot of other teachers, and I became really excited about it. And so it's every year is interesting, as these fellows know, because they're officers. They are co-presidents this year. But last year, just as members of Trout Committee, they were volunteering their time every day to come in to take care of the trout. I do have a Trout Committee with about 50 on it, and they have a rotating schedule, but these guys were here every day, and now, again, this year. But they can tell you, like, we have our ups and downs. So it's a challenging program. So what we do is we raise eggs from their egg stage to fingerlings. So they go from their eggs to their sack fry to swim up fry and then fingerlings. And then we release them. So we're releasing into the Bear Creek, which it has to be a state-approved waterway that we release them into.
When is that? When's the big release?
It is on Monday.
All right,
Woohoo!
very good.
We're kind of glad about that because what are some of the issues we've been having, fellows?
Well, we've been having alternating levels, whether they be really high or really low. We've continuously been doing water changes, try to bring the levels down. Mr. Swank's been treating it, and yeah.
Dealing with algae and all the other stuff that likes to grow, and it's always a constant battle for our fish.
And what's the other big battle we've had earlier? And we're not sure if it's going on right now.
We did have some cannibalism amongst the fish.
Yes.
Due to their very competitive nature of survival of the fittest, the fittest survived. those who weren't the fittest, well, they met an unfortunate end.
Yes.
Yeah, so we started with, we weren't sure if it was 199 or 200 eggs because it's very difficult to try to count them when they first arrive. And we keep very accurate daily records if we lose the sack fry or the swim-up fry or the fingerlings. So right before they were becoming fingerlings, our number was pretty accurate. When the cannibalism started, when we would walk into heads ripped off or pieces of abdomen ripped off, we were counting those as having been deceased, but we think our numbers have dropped because it doesn't look as quite as many, and so we're thinking they're eating the whole entire fish now. So we'll see on Monday when we count them. We do count them.
There's quite a few that I've never saw their bodies, but they're like physical deformities. Like we had one with a crooked tail that I know for a fact is not still alive, but we never have any evidence that it was murdered.
Right.
This might be the most interesting podcast I've ever hosted. We've got crooked tails. And by the way, now that I know this, I'm kind of keeping an eye on the cafeteria menu to make sure we don't see a bunch of fish sandwiches popping up on the menu.
It is kind of amusing because the one custodian was blaming the other custodian for like going after the fish and having them for a snack or something, you know. So we won't know till Monday for sure, though, how many actually survived. And like Matt said, it is survival of the fittest. So it's been an interesting year. And they talked about the chemical levels. We have to maintain the pH, the ammonia, the nitrites and the nitrates, and it's challenging in a 50-gallon tank.
So this is real learning.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, obviously we've had an episode about our greenhouse, and I'm watching kindergartners growing plants in our greenhouse, which is incredible. We just installed a time-lapse camera in there, by the way. We're going to be able to watch the plants grow. Cool. But this is real learning. Talk about how it differs when you can look a 10th grader in the eye after they've done something like this versus reading about it in a book.
Well, I think anything that's hands-on creates more interest, excitement, and engages the students. So even students who aren't on Trout Committee and are just in my classes, I mean, I have so many kids, the first thing they do, they'll quickly go over to, were there any more eaten today, Mrs. Schwanker? What's wrong with that one up there? Ooh, look at that on the bottom, you know. So, and I call those teachable moments. So it isn't, there is a curriculum that goes with the program, but what I try to do is like an introduction, and then as things occur, bring that up in my classes and talk about natural selection and survival of the fittest and those types of things. So it is more exciting for them.
And you're watching this whole thing evolve as it goes on.
Right.
All right, so let's talk to these fine young men, sophomores in high school, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So, Matt, Blake, both of you can chime in whenever you're comfortable, but describe your preparation process for a trout release and the role that the Trout Committee members play in ensuring some success with this.
Well, as the ordinary Trout Committee member, you come in at least, I think it's twice per...
we have a rotating schedule.
We have a rotating schedule where you will come in and test the water for us on a Monday, Wednesday, or a Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our job.
Yep.
And you'll always be under the guidance of a officer or someone else who will be able to guide you and teach you about all of the processes that we as officers are doing, and Mrs. Schwank, of course, are doing to help us let these fish grow and go into our waterways.
Yeah.
And then as we get to the release date, we have to make sure, like we said before, the levels are all good. And then when we get to the actual release date, we got to count all the fish, make sure, or see how many died. We had to put them into a cooler so that we could take them over to Bear Creek and when we release them.
Yeah.
And then the headwaters, they also bring trout of their own so that we can release them too.
That's a really nice thing. Yeah. So we will release our fingerlings.
Yeah.
And then, as Blake just said, Schuylkill Headwaters Association, who also helps that day with one of the stations, they donate usually about 50 adult trout, and the students get to look at them and release them in. And that's usually all different kinds. We raise rainbows.
Okay.
Originally, it used to be brook trout, but there were some issues with some infections and so forth. So then the Fish and Boat Commission decided to go to rainbow. Yeah. Although the brook trout were native, whereas the rainbow, are not. So, but still, it's a great experience. Did you want to say something?
The brook trout gave us less problems.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Well, this is all fascinating. I absolutely love. So, co-presidents of this trout committee, if you don't mind, share how it's impacted your perspective of the environmental piece of all this. Like, it's more than just raising fish in a classroom. Now, you've got to be conscientious about what you're releasing into the environment. How's that impact you?
For me, as someone who has experience in fishing and just overall being out in the nature, it's nice to know the difference that you yourself have made to nature. Like, to be able to grow an entire species population in the waters and really change the environment for the better. It's really a good feeling.
Should be.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with what Matt said for literally the exact same reasons.
Yeah, you're doing so much good, and you know, and it's fun. I would assume being part of something that is special like this. All right, good stuff. All right, let's get back to another question for these two young men. Student leaders of the Trout Committee. What motivated you two to take on a leadership role?
For me, it was just last year's experience with helping out all the time with just the overall experience, and the more we got into it, the more we enjoy it because we know our part, and that's honestly just the most enjoyable thing is knowing you're making an impact.
Good.
Yep. It was always so much fun too, like working with the fish, making sure everything was good. And then when we finally got to the release date, it was just like, wow, we finally did it.
Did it. Yeah.
It's always culture shock having released them, and you go, oh, now we have to take it down just to put it back together in a couple months.
It's good.
And it's like, oh no, we don't have fish anymore. But given all the trouble they've been giving us lately, I can't wait for Monday.
So, I'm not too attached to these ones anymore.
Yeah, we're all excited for Monday. But any like memorable stories from the past or anything that's happened in the past that you want to share?
Last year when we were doing one of the release dates for Schuylkill Headwaters, we were having some trouble actually getting the fish into the water. I fell into the water. I slipped on a rock and I went right in.
Oh, so he's talking about when we assist Schuylkill Headwaters and the Schuylkill Haven Rec. We do that a couple times, 4 times this year. I think we did it 5 or 6 last year. And so I get student volunteers on the weekends to help with that. So that's what he's not talking about at the fairgrounds, but for that release.
It was at Stoyers, and I was trying to help the fish get out, and when I went to throw it, my foot slipped on the rock and I went in with it a little bit.
So you ended up a little wet that day.
I went swimming.
Yeah,
swimming with the fishies.
Yeah, good stuff. Last question, and then we'll get into some fun stuff. Earth Day is coming up.
Right.
How does something like this tie into Earth Day and what that means?
To me, Earth Day is just all about getting into nature and just enjoying it. Like, with how industrialized we're getting as a nation, just you have to keep hold of that nature. Keep hold of what is true.
Yeah.
And I feel like going along with what he said, like cleaning up the earth along with adding more fish population, it just makes the world a better place.
Yeah.
And I'd like to go off of that, if I may. I think this whole program is really important about promoting good stewardship, promoting environmental conservation. And I know they won't take offense to this, but realistically, when you look around at the students, even the ones who are active and do the sports and the musicals and all the activities, their phone is their favorite pastime. Or their video games. And I want them to realize that there is so much more out there, that what the outdoors has to offer, and their role they play in the environment and trying to sustain it, because I think people are forgetting how important the environment is. And if we forget it, the Earth isn't going to be in such a good place. And I worry about that, for future generations. And that's what our program on Monday is all about. And fortunately, we were able to schedule it for Earth Day. It doesn't always work out that way. But to make the students more aware, this is, and not just being a good student, not a good student, good steward, but all that the Pennsylvania Outdoors has to offer. And that's with our number of stations that we have. We're going to have Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission there. We're having Pennsylvania Game Commission, Schuylkill Headwaters, Schuylkill Conservation District, Cabela's. Schuylkill Conservation District will be there. Schuylkill Headwaters Association. So they have all these stations that have fun activities for the students, learning activities. And I really enjoy seeing the look on some of these students' faces when they're doing some of these, when they pick up an arrow for the first time or trying to cast a line, or plant trees and so forth. So it's a wonderful experience for them. And it's an arduous process, but I think it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
You're never bored, are you, Mrs.
No.
I love that.
In fact, these fish, they can tell you, they're like, any of my pets are my babies, but so are these fish. I'm in here at nights, weekends, snow days, holidays, and my husband will help too.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
The commitment's the real experience, and knowing how it is eye-opening, just being able to make a difference. Yeah. It's what we're all about here.
Oh, and I forgot. I also wanted to give a shout out. Red Creek Wildlife will be there on Monday too. So we have a really great day plan. I think no matter how many times the students do it, they enjoy it, because obviously I invite all of our biology club. About 50 some are trout committee, and I have about 150 biology club students in general. I think I have 120 some attending on Monday, and they don't have to sign up, obviously, and some of them have done it, like the seniors, for 3 years, and they keep signing up because they enjoy doing it.
I love it.
It's a blast every year. We enjoy nothing more than it.
Good. I just love when we can sit and have a podcast and I can just throw my phone to the side. I just like a break from my phone as we sit here on fake grass, right? And talk about the environment, right?
Yeah. I was going to say, not so good.
But we're indoors.
At least this is indoors,
It
right?
is a rainy day outside. We should preface
Absolutely
that.
love the great nature here inside this nice climate-controlled building.
Absolutely. So let's, we don't ever have to worry about mowing it. That's the beauty of it, right?
That is true.
All right, let's have some fun. Let's dive into the rapid fire questions. We have about a dozen rapid fire questions, our dirty dozen. Any you don't want to answer, you can just say pass. This is just for fun, but we'll start with you, Mrs. Schwank. Describe yourself in 3 words. 3 words, and then you two can chime in afterwards.
Dedicated, passionate, school-spirited.
Oh,
Go Haven!
That is absolutely. No one will ever argue with that last one for sure, right? So all 3 for that matter. How about you, Matt?
We are all answering this question. Whoops. Hardworking, dedicated, and just caring for the environment more of. Yeah,
I have to keep looking at this kid. All weekend he was silver like the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz. So got all that silver off. That's a good thing.
It took long enough.
Blake, how about you? 3 words.
For me, I'd have to say hardworking, dedicated, and caring, just as Matt said.
Yeah, you guys are. I appreciate that. Good. All right. This one's just for the boys. Favorite class? Oh, this is a dangerous question, right? Favorite class?
American cultures.
All right.
It's either American cultures or honors pre-calc.
Oh, okay. Math?
Yeah, I love math.
Like the numbers? All right.
We're the mathletes here.
Yeah, they're going into engineering fields.
Yeah,
so.
I'm actually the captain. He's the
co-captain.
Co-captain, yeah. We're co-captains. I wasn't sure.
Good stuff. How about your favorite lunch in our high school cafeteria?
I'd have to go with the Stromboli's.
Oh, yeah. Did you dip? You dip a little sauce? No, you're eating it straight.
Yep. Every time Stromboli's on the menu, it's like, I'm going to have to get seconds.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
I personally like to pack, but my favorite every single time I actually do eat in the school caf is always the French toast sticks.
Really?
I love
There you
I've had a
breakfast.
couple say that, yeah.
Definitely one of the better ones. I love it.
All right, how about your favorite? We'll stick with them for these questions about food for a while, because I get hungry if you and I start talking about favorite fast food spot. Blake, how about you? Do you have a favorite?
I love them all, to be honest. I can't choose
All of
favorite.
the above, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
can't beat Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I love it.
What's your
Whenever we go on field trips, of course, that's what they want to know: when we're eating and what time. But if there's a
Sounds about
Chick-fil-A,
right.
it's like this huge
Yes.
entourage going to the Chick-fil-A.
Now, you guys are aware that we once had a Chick-fil-A in Schuylkill County at the new mall,
What happened?
and the new mall is
They went out of
now
business.
no longer a mall.
No, even though it says Schuylkill Mall
Yes,
Road.
yes. But we had a Chick-fil-A
Yes,
in
we
the
did.
Schuylkill Mall years ago. Little did we know what we had back
Right,
then. So,
If
exactly.
only that stayed.
Yeah, I want it back.
Yeah,
should be
let's see what we can
Absolutely
do.
love it.
All right, fact or cap? Dunkin'
Okay.
Donuts is the best place to get your coffee.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with fact. I don't like Starbucks. I'm
Okay.
just not a Starbucks
Dunkin'
fan.
guy.
I mean, I'm not an either fan, but I'd have
Yeah.
to say cap only because like there's definitely split decisions.
Yeah. So you maybe teeter on the Starbucks
Yep.
wagon just a tad. Mrs. Schwank and I, we don't care. We pour it out of the pot at home and we're just as satisfied,
Well,
right?
I'm a tea drinker, so
Oh, okay.
I like hot tea.
Do you keep your pinky up when you drink that? That's
I
important,
don't
right?
pay
All right.
attention. I don't know.
This will be a fun one. Let's hear. What is your favorite outdoor activity?
Hunting.
Hunting. Okay.
Ooh. Actually, that's a great question. I like hiking. I love
Hiking.
hiking.
Cool. How about you, Mrs. Schwank?
I really enjoy taking. You had dogs. One just
Yeah.
recently passed, but my dog now go for long walks on the Bartram Trail, actually, which is a really great place.
Gotcha. All right. Good. A genie grants you one wish. What would you wish for? Either of you gentlemen can respond to this one.
You got this
One
one
wish
first.
from a genie. You could have anything you want. What would it be?
I mean, that is
That's fair.
a great idea. Endless Chick-fil-A.
Endless Chick-fil-A. Mr. Hale, our producer, chimes in.
Yeah.
I think you can see.
Or
he's
just
getting-
like free food for life or something.
yeah, just eat away.
I'm just gonna expand on that. Just solve world hunger, please.
Yeah,
That's-
make sure kids that really
Yeah.
need food get it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that or just world peace, something along those lines.
Yeah.
If
Wouldn't
the
it be
world
nice?
seems so interested in tearing itself apart, we need to put it back together.
Exactly.
Yep.
Very good,
That's a
Matt.
great response, Matt. Thank you. I love that. You could switch lives with one person, any person in the world. Who would that one person be? Have you ever given that any thought?
Oh my!
And just for a day.
just for a singular day.
Yes, we've had a lot of Taylor Swift responses over the years.
Well, you ain't getting that out of either.
Yeah,
Neither of us.
but I didn't think either one of you would want to be
I
Taylor
don't
for
know
the
what
day.
you're talking about. You're a huge Swiftie. What
No,
are you kidding?
absolutely not.
Yeah. Anybody come to
Ooh.
mind? Or are you pretty satisfied in your own skin?
I'm pretty satisfied, to be honest.
Yeah, I like where I'm at. I like what I'm doing.
I like that.
May I chime in?
Absolutely.
I'm very satisfied where I'm at too, but I think it would be awesome to be Jane Goodall for the day.
Ooh,
True.
that would
That's-
be
that's
fun.
a-
All
Yes.
right, good. What is your favorite movie or TV show? Any one of you can answer this.
Ooh.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with my favorite movie as a child, which was How to Train Your Dragon.
You know,
I just
I
love that
respect
entire
it.
series.
Yeah.
You
Such
know
a
what's
good
up,
series,
Mr.
and
Yeah,
Ham.
Mr. Hale liked that one too.
Absolutely love it. Still, every series they have, I love everything about it. It's just amazing.
Okay, good. Blake, how about you?
For me, it's not really a favorite movie. It's more of a genre,
Okay.
which is like anything with the military.
Oh,
I'm
good.
a
Yeah.
big
Oh, good.
military guy.
Awesome.
So
Mr. Schwank, you have a favorite?
I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I'm always here
You're
at
always here.
school.
I was about to say, yeah, that's right.
But I like Hallmark, HGTV, the Up TV, Great American Family. But my favorite movie is Witness with Harrison Ford.
Ooh, all right. Good,
Yes.
good stuff. All right, nickname. This is for the two sophomores here. A nickname that your parents may have called you at some stage of your life. Any nicknames?
Slim.
Slim.
The entire school calls him
Yeah,
Slim.
entire school.
Everybody
calls
calls
me
you
Entire
Slim.
school.
Yes.
All right, that's what you should have got in the back of that jersey.
Yeah.
Slim.
Slim.
I like it.
Slim. Even,
All right.
It's even your Spanish name, just in
It
Spanish.
is.
Yeah.
Which is Blanco, which translates to Slim.
Yep.
There you go.
It's just it's his whole personality, that nickname.
It really is.
Yeah, you are. I like that nickname for you. That's a good one. Matt, how about you?
I never really had one.
Just
I was always Matt or Matthew. And
I could go down the list, bud. There's a
Middle
limit.
school does not count.
No, it really does.
Keep
The
this.
truth
quite a
comes
few,
out.
quite a
Are-
few.
Is this, are you editing this?
Yes. All right. I think I know the response I'll get to this one, but Facebook or Instagram, or
Instagram.
Snapchat?
Instagram.
Oh, Instagram is amazing.
Instagram, how about you?
You're not going to like to hear this. I'm not a social media person.
That's okay. No, it's okay.
I don't want to get involved in the drama.
I think the adults we do. We kind of like to step back and say,
Yes.
yeah, you guys can have Instagram and Snapchat. All right, last question. What makes you smile the most? Something that just makes you smile. And Allie's back there pointing to herself.
Of course she is.
Yes, we should mention that we have a student here providing moral support
Yes.
for all of us. So, anything that comes to mind makes you smile the most.
Oh, that's a good. That's a good
Pretty
one.
much anything. My sense of humor is so bad. Somebody says like 2 words and I'm on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
Just pretty much just trying to have fun. Just enjoying life.
Yeah.
You're only here for so long. Do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Have something to do.
Pretty inspiring words from a
Yes,
10th grader.
I think that is
I think
inspiring.
that's
Enjoying
tremendous.
life, exactly.
Mrs. Schwank, how about you?
I would like to feed off of that about the
Yeah.
enjoying life. Although they can tell you the past few days when we've had to be changing out the water and cleaning the tank every day, I'm like, these fish are driving me crazy.
Yeah.
But I still end up laughing and smiling at the
Right.
end. But I do think it's about enjoying life and appreciating. And that's a big thing, a key thing, appreciating what you have.
Yeah. This, I will tell you, this is what makes me smile. Like, I've done, I think, close to 20 episodes, and every week I go home and say, oh, man, we had the greatest episode today. And you're not going to believe what we're doing in this little school district. It's unbelievable, the stuff that's happening, and that's because of great people like you. So thank you. You make me smile. That's my answer. Allie, you make me smile, too. We don't want to
You make everyone smile.
we
Don't you
want
worry.
Allie to feel, neglected back there. So, but what a great week ahead. Next Monday, these folks are going to have the big trout release. Anything you want to add?
I had
Just
some.
going
I
to be a
completely
fun
lost it.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Competitive
a fun
time, certain games.
Never a dull
learning.
moment. Never a
It's
dull
going to be
moment.
great.
Not in this town.
I have
Not in this school district.
great
Right.
teachers accompanying us that enjoy it, so that's a plus. And then all those great organizations I already mentioned, without them we wouldn't be able to do it. It is a huge undertaking. I'm already planning for next year, believe me, and writing grants to support it and so forth, but it is all worth it in the end. And I would like to give a shout out not only to my current officers. I mean, these guys have been wonderful. I've got Allie Vanulis, I have Chris George, Olivia Trossel, and just I'd like to mention these other folks who've really helped me along the years besides those organizations. Last year would have been Reese Felty, Sarah Grace Minnick, Kyle Lipp, and Ada McKee. Before that, it was Colin Felty, Shane Pothering, Trent Creasy, and Josh Magdeburg. And my original guys were Jake Pothering and Jake Luckenbill. They're
yeah.
the ones who really helped me
Yeah.
the first year. And like with some of those students, they were for a couple of years officers. So I want to give them a huge shout out in addition to these guys, because I really depend on them. They are remarkable young people.
Awesome. I'm so proud of all of you.
Yes.
Great stuff happening. Monday's the big release. Get a bunch of pictures. Mr. Hale will get them all posted on social media. We'll share out after the release and let everybody see firsthand on our social media feeds the good stuff that is happening in our schools. 2 sophomores. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Blake. And Mrs. Schwank, still going strong. We love you, Mrs. Schwank. Again, this is the stuff that's happening in our schools every day. Folks, be sure to like and share this episode. Follow us on the YouTube channel. We are at Schuylkill Haven Hurricanes Media. Thanks so much for being my guest today.
No better
Thank you
place
for
to
having
be.
us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Love
it.
having you guys. Again, follow us on YouTube. And remember, make the positives so loud that the negatives are almost impossible to hear.